Okay, exam 3 in our book, review book, part A. These are no calculator questions. I'm just picking out a few that I thought I'd go over with you. Number 5 is easy, but it's going to help me explain number 7, which is the next question. So hopefully you looked at this and you go, hey, this is the definition of a derivative. So what are they asking me? To figure out what, this is just asking you what's g prime of x. You have to recognize it. And g prime of x is a super easy question. Derivative of x is 1, derivative of cosine, negative sine, and we're done. Choice C. So I'm not picking that one out because it was tough, but the next one over here, number 7, was a tough one. What does it have to do with the definition of the derivative? Well, the trick, and it took me a while to figure this one out myself, was to divide everything here by b. What do you get? Well, I'll just leave that alone, but over here you get 4a plus 2b. Now if I took the limit of each side as b goes to 0 instead of h, this again is the derivative. This is g prime of a. And what are you going to get? Well, if you let b go to 0, you get 4a. Well, change a to x, and you just found g prime of x would be 4x, which is choice A. That's a tricky question, but if you understood 5, hopefully you kind of get 7. All right, I'm going to jump around. Going to number 11. And not a super tough question, but maybe you forgot how to find inverse. Inverse is switch the letter x with the letter y. So right now, they started off with giving you the cubed root of x minus 1, and I'm going to switch. And I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to cube both sides. And then I'm going to add 1. Well, that's the inverse, and they want me to find the derivative. Find the derivative of the inverse. So that'll be 3x squared. The calculus part is easy. So choice A. Number 12, I want to go over it because it's the definition of derivative, or sorry, it's not the definition of derivative, but the fundamental theorem of calc. And we haven't seen it in a while. They just want me to find the derivative and evaluate it at pi over 2. Well, how do I find this derivative? How do I get the derivative of the integral? I called this the advanced formula or something. I don't know. You got to take cosine and put it in there, and you also have to take the derivative of cosine. It's kind of like the chain rule. So when you take the derivative of the integral, they cancel. And you're just going to get 1 plus the cosine of x cubed, but you also have to multiply by the derivative of cosine, which is negative sine. Now you can evaluate it at pi over 2. All right, which is 90 degrees, so the cosine is 0. So this is just going to be the square root of 1. And over here, you're going to say, hopefully you say that's 1, so that turns into negative 1. So it's going to be 1 times negative 1, which is negative 1. Choice A. Hope I'm getting all these right. And I'm going to jump to 16 now. And I picked this one out because this is a good example of L'Hopital's rule. So if you just try to take the limit, you'd get 1 plus 1 minus 2 on top, and down below you get 1 minus 1, so you'd end up with 0 over 0. So this is a perfect example where you can use L'Hopital's rule. So take the derivative of the top, e to the x is e to the x, e to the negative x is negative e to the negative x. 2 goes away. Take the derivative of the bottom. Derivative of negative cosine would be negative, no, positive sine. All right. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Yeah, positive sine. Hope I got that right. Now take the limit. As x goes to 0, that's 1 That's 1. And then I get the sine of 0, which is 1. So I get 0 over 1, which is 0. Choice A. Just double check I got that right. Now you can look in the back of the book, but it's definitely L'Hopital's rule. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake. I don't want to drag this on too long. 21 is the next one I picked out. A little tough. They don't give you a lot of room here for it either. So when is it increasing? I got to do the derivative, first derivative test. But first I got to find the derivative. I think the easiest way to do this would be to distribute. So f of x is 5x to the 2/3 minus 2x to the 5/3. Now I'll take the derivative. I'm going to get 10/3 x to the negative 1/3 minus 10/3 x to the 2/3. So clearly I could take the 10/3 out. But what is not so clear, I could take x to the negative 1/3 out also. So then I'm left with just 1 here. And if you take a negative 1/3 out of here, we're just left with x. It's a tough move right there. Hopefully you followed that. Because now I'm just going to say when is this equal to 0? And you can see, well, one of the roots is 1. And then this root over here is 0. So again, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to get a little scrap paper here. So 0 is a critical point, 1's a critical point. Test something, I don't know, let's just take a half, put a half in there, that'd be positive. This is going to be positive also. Pick a number like 2, that'll be negative. This will still stay positive. And pick a negative number. You could take cube roots of negative numbers. That'll be negative. This will be negative. Wait, no. That'll be positive, so this will be negative. So the question was, when is it increasing from 0 to 1? Tough problem. All right, one more. Let's go to 29. Oh, I wanted to go over this one because it's not too tough, but it's substitution. Let u be 20 minus 4x, then du is negative 4 dx. Yeah, move that negative 4 over. So by substitution, what do you get? The integral of the square root of u with a negative 1/4 du. Now, I'd like it to go from 1 to 3, but see, that would be incorrect. What I have to do is put the 1 and 3 into the original. So if I put 1 in here, I get 20, take away 4, which is 16. Try that again. If I put 1 in here, 20, take away 4 is 16. And if I put the 3 in here, I get 20, take away 12. 20, take away 12. That doesn't seem right either. Oh, yeah, 20, take away 12, that would be 8. And if I don't like the fact that this is upside down, so if I flip them around, put the 8 down there and the 16 up there, then I have to make this positive. And that is choice B. Tricky question. All right, so I hope some of these helped you out. Don't forget, no area, no volume on the AP exam now. Also, I think no average value. So if you run into those questions, just kind of omit them.